unsafe. They are foreigners. Please write it down. That's what I want you to note, because I'm going to touch on this later on. The bandits kidnapping people in Nigeria are foreigners. Some of them are aided and abetted by the ones who are local. And they have said they will make Kaduna unsafe, ostensibly for Christians who are in Kaduna. What I want you to note from what I've just said is that the bandits are, some of them are foreigners. Now we are going to ask questions later. And as we ask questions tonight, I want all of you to try as much as you can to answer these questions as we proceed. What it means in effect is that if people can come from Niger Republic, come from Mali, come from Cameroon, come from Chad, come from all these weird and wonderful places to come to Kaduna, to come and kidnap Christian students in Kaduna, it means there is something wrong somewhere. But the reason why some of you do not pay any close attention to this very obvious fact is because of the way you reason, the way you digest information, the way you interpret things that are happening around you. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it means that a lot of people who are in the so-called National Assembly, it means that people who are running about in the army and in the police shouting and talking about territorial integrity, it means that all the fools, all the sophisticated morons, it means that all the fools championing and campaigning for one indivisible Nigeria, all of them who will come down very mightily and heavily on those who are pursuing their freedom, it means that everybody mouthing their usual rubbish about the territorial integrity of Nigeria do not understand what territorial integrity is all about. Follow this very carefully, what I'm saying. You know, when you listen to the army, sometimes it's about the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Here you have foreign mercenaries, a foreign army in Kaduna kidnapping people. Very shortly, I'm going to ask all of you where you think these kidnappers are coming from and how come they managed to get through the border. These are the questions that you Nigerians never ask yourselves every blessed day. How did they cross the border, come into Kaduna, acquire AK-47, then go to school to select Christians to kidnap? These are the things you need to ask yourself. All these idiots in your National Assembly, with the exception of one or two of them, like Abaribe, and maybe one or two other persons, they don't even understand what territorial integrity is all about. The territorial integrity of Nigeria has been breached not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, over and over and over and over and over again. They don't know what territorial integrity means. I believe that they understand what territorial integrity is all about, because it is now a land of terrorists. A land of terrorists. The breaching of the territorial integrity of Nigeria, not on one occasion, but on numerous occasions, were carefully executed by the same Fulani people in Aso shouting about territorial integrity every blessed day. The same group of people. The same group of people. These Fulani Islamist politicians in Aso and all over the north, with their quislings in the east and their sophisticated moronic partners in the west, if you add a few pastors in between, you will not be mistaken. These Fulani Islamist politicians and their cohorts right across every shade, every color, every tribe in the zoo have themselves destroyed the territorial integrity of Nigeria by bringing in terrorists into Nigeria from across the Sahel to conquer indigenous populations. Fools like Dave Umahi and should I say Mrs. Tambuwal in River State, Mrs. Tambuwal. Fools like Dave Umahi and Mrs. Tambuwal must learn from this, because these people think that they are dealing with normal human beings from the north, from the Fulani Caliphate Sahel, not knowing that every Fulani politician is a hardened terrorist. That is the reason why they went across the Sahel to recruit people and give them cattle to disguise their identity. Or should I say, to validate their murderous mission. Do you know what is shocking about this whole thing? Not that these people are from Mali, from Senegambia, from all these places. These are the people they want us to give our land to do Ruga. Are you following what I'm saying? These are the same people that are telling us they are headsmen, it is their pastoral life and all that rubbish. These are the same people they want us to give our land to. I hope that some of you are following and you're listening, including Mrs. Tambuwal. I hope you're listening. You'll be talking like somebody who has been under the influence of Tombo for nearly 2 weeks. Do you understand it very carefully? Do you follow what I'm saying? The people that did the kidnapping in Kaduna, most of them are foreigners. Foreigners. And you're busy doing BVN registration, NIN registration. They also have their NIN registration. But they are not Nigerians. They are not indigenous to Nigeria. These are Fulani hardened criminals and murderers recruited by Fulani politicians from across the Sahel to come and take over Nigeria for them. Sadly, very sadly, some of you are yet to wake up to this reality. Some of you are still blinded by the idiocy and hypocrisy and the criminal tendencies of some of your pastors that I will come to later on. That was why I apologized in advance. I am going to annoy some people this evening. I must tell you the truth. Fulani Islamist politicians have destroyed the territorial integrity of Nigeria. They are the ones that brought in the fellow terrorists from across the Sahel into Nigeria without proper documentation at the border. They're coming from Sokoto, from Katsina, from Kano, from everywhere across the north. They come in with their AK-47, or they acquire one once they get into the zoo. They now go on a kidnapping spree and ransom spree. They leave this place, they leave the zoo as multi-billionaires. Nobody is asking the federal government of the Republic of Nigeria, how? I've been waiting for this question every day. How did they get in? Who let them in? Nobody talks about these things. How did they manage to get to Kaduna? To a polytechnic? To go and take people who are in a polytechnic? How? How manage? They cannot ask these pertinent questions. Not a single one of them. What you have are idiots in the south. Say, oh, we need to build bridges. You need to try and form bridge with the north so you can get presidency. You don't know you are dealing with terrorists. These are not human beings. These are savage. These are animals. These are beasts. And these are the same people that you want us to do Ruga. These are the same people that Ojo Zokalo gave land to at Lopa, that kidnapped some students of ABSU a few days ago. And of course, we know what we did. And you know, they're very smart sometimes. They quickly released all of them. They should have held on to them. They should have held on. I was praying for them to hold on to them. Then we'll teach them a lesson. They will understand that every flesh bleeds. That is something they don't understand. Mrs. Tambuwal and the idiots like Omahi, you think you're dealing with politicians from the north. I feel sorry for some Yoruba pastors. talking rubbish about Nigeria being one, all that nonsense. They claim their prophets. I will deal with them this night. Speak up armed robbers and criminals with the Bible. I will deal with all of you tonight. You see, maybe you know that they are. You people are there. Your so-called territorial integrity have been breached not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. By hardened Fulani terrorists recruited from across the Sahel. All you need to validate the identity is you give them a few cattle, just give them 15 cows, that's all. They become Fulani pastoralists in Nigeria. That's all it takes. The only way they have managed to deceive all of you over the years is to think that anybody carrying a nama along the road is somehow a Fulani Nigerian or a Nigerian Fulani. Now listen to this. You know that they moved into Kaduna, into Kebbi State, and a few others in the north. Remember, that is why when people say their bishop is a prophet, is a prophesying, I look at them and I laugh at them. You know that poverty can do a lot of things. You know the same way that Africans are behaving today. You see your Yoruba white people, they used to behave like that very, very in the dark ages. Very many centuries ago. You know that there is nothing that draws you closer to God than poverty. You know, poverty is miraculous. Once you're hungry like this, you start singing Angel Michael and Angel Gabriel coming to minister to you. The same thing happening in Africa today happened in Europe. Many centuries ago, Europeans were very, very poor, impoverished, extremely poor. And somebody gave them the Bible. And the same, that as idiotic as we Africans are today with religion, it was exactly the same way they were. In the same Europe you're seeing, in Germany, in France, in all those places. Very poor. They started seeing angels from heaven flying all over the place. Now they're rich, they no longer see angels anymore. Do they go to church? In Europe, no, they don't. Do they go to church anymore in America? It's only black people because they're poor in America. That's the people shouting hallelujah every blessed day in the church. Doing songs of praise in the church. The people going to church today are those who are still poor. Because in Europe, anybody living in Europe can testify. Do they go to church anymore in Europe? The answer is no. They no longer go to church in Europe. Am I lying? That is why when you come to Africa, one idiot will tell you he's seeing a prophet, he is seeing prophecy. He is seeing prophecy. Your life will be better. You will get a new job. Whereas where you are being prayed for to get a new job used to be a factory producing shoes before. They closed it down, turned it into a church, praying for you to get a job. Ask the stupid pastor, where will I get this job from? Oh, poverty is a spirit, I'm telling you. Once poverty gets inside you, hey, if they quote Ecclesiastes, you'll be jumping up and down because you're very poor. Because you cannot reason very well. To compare to all those fools that call themselves prophets that cannot prophesy anything. Only a few months ago, I told the whole world live on Radio Biafra that there is a method to our madness. I think those were the exact words I used. There is a method to our madness. And unless you are on the inside, you can never ever understand it. You cannot understand what we are doing. You can never ever understand what we are doing. Because I get messages from heaven direct. You know what Elohim said to me? He said, you must continue what you're doing. You must continue what you're doing. That is something that a slave and baby sabos can never understand. Heaven gave me a message, you must continue what you're doing. And I asked why. They said, I want to move their able-bodied men and women to the east. When they come to the east, you are going to kill them in the east. Those of them that can survive or that manage to survive will have nowhere to go back to. So that in years to come, wherever they settle, they will tell their children about you people. I didn't understand what the message meant, and I kept praying. Elohim said, you will bring them down to your land, and the real terrorists that they are grooming will take over their own land from them. I still said, I don't understand. They gave me a message in Igbo language. Now I can't see how that hand with which they've tried to feed poison to others, they will put into their own mouth. It shall kill them. That was what Elohim said to me. Elohim's Rimozi, and I must give it to you tonight. And I kept wondering. What is this whole thing all about? Until it started happening. I want to give you a very clean, fine example today as to what heaven meant by keep doing what you're doing, draw them to the east, and I will hand over their land to vandals. And vandals are now in their land eating their flesh. I'll give a very simple example this evening. A humanitarian crisis is brewing in Zulu Emirates, in Kebbi State. Listen to the name. School today because bring your pen and paper, I said. Bring your pen and paper, for goodness sake. And note everything I'm telling you. They said there is a place called Zulu Emirate. Emirate is the word I want you to note. Write it down. In Kebbi State. Their villagers are fleeing their communities following the invasion of armed bandits. The way Guardian newspaper put it is this. Thousands flee Kebbi communities over invasion by armed bandits. There was a brother of mine that wrote something today, which with his permission, I will quote. Obonna, he said, all the demons of hell must overrun the north. That Elohim said. That he has unleashed, that he has opened the floodgates of hell. All the demons of hell, they will eat the flesh of the Fulani in the north. They send their army, their zombie army, to the east, where they will be destroyed by Elohim. Then the sun will rise over the land of Biafra, never to dim again for eternity. It was today that the full weight of that message that I was giving dawned on me. When I was on air and I was saying that we would draw them to the east, and the real bad eggs will take over their land, I didn't even know what I was saying, but it has happened today. Do you know who Kebbi people are? You don't know, but I will tell you later. The people who are in Olu today fighting, most of them are from Kebbi State. They're in the Nigerian army. They came to Olu to kill Biafran people. But as they left the north, their lands are being taken over by hardened savages and animals from across the Sahel that their political masters imported into the zoo. All of the army, Nigerian army in Biafra land, you are going to die there. You will die in Biafra land. All of you will die there. Our people don't understand this very message that we are giving to them. But I do hope that after tonight, they will get it. All of you will die in Biafra land, those in Olu, those elsewhere. The best option for you is to take off your uniform and run away before it is too late. Go back to your land, those of you from Kebbi State. Go back to Kebbi to go and save your land. Because as you are in Olu, you have no village anymore to go back to in Kebbi. It's gone. Your village is gone and gone for good. That is the work of Almighty God in heaven. The same prophecy I was given, that there is no other religious minister in the zoo that can match 0.0000001% of the accuracy of our prediction. No, nobody can. I'm begging. Now listen carefully to me. All of you in Biafra land, you're going to die. Even the Pakistani mercenaries that we saw in Olu, all of you will die there. If by any stretch of luck you manage to survive what is coming, because they know now, and I watch it in Agesugo. If by any stretch of imagination you get out of Olo alive and survive what is coming, then look for where else to go to, because your land has been taken over by terrorists from the Sahel. Those of you from Kebbi State in Imo State listening to my broadcast this evening, you are about to pay the price of stupidity. In your next life, if they mention Biafra, you will tell your mother not to give birth to you. All of you, you are finished. You are going to die in the one thing, you are going to die in Biafra land. You will die there to start with. All of you will die there. You will die in Biafra land. You're going to die there. That is certain. And by the time one or two of you then may survive, by the time you crawl back to where you come from, let me remind you once what's happening again, where you come from. They say it is a humanitarian crisis. Some of you are in Abuja, some of you are in Lagos writing rubbish every blessed day. Nigeria should be one. We should move forward. We should move forward. The idiots like Obasanjo writing rubbish. But there is a humanitarian crisis. They didn't say it's just banditry. Humanitarian crisis in Kebbi State. Where some of you come from that claim you are serving in Imo State. Who said to go? I told you. I can't see you on. Somebody should translate for them in Hausa language, so they understand what I'm saying. All of you are going to die in Biafra land. By the time one or two survivors crawl back to the north, in fact, you can no longer go back because your land is taken over. It reminded me of what some DSS officers told me in the days I was under their detention in Abuja, in the dungeon. One of them confessed to me, when he was taking me to court, that they are trying to stop, we are trying to stop you because we don't want what is happening in the north to happen in the east. Because even me here, I am from Adamawa. I cannot go to my village anymore. I've been in Abuja with my family ever since. But these idiots are in Abuja trying to sustain one Nigeria. The same one Nigeria that made it impossible for him to go to his village. He is in Abuja trying to sustain it. Things can never be the same again in Nigeria is gone. The zoo called Nigeria is gone. It can never be the same again. There are arms everywhere. Arms everywhere. It can never be the same. The same thing the army has, now the people, they have it as well. Is it not AK-47? Ordinary bullet. You have it, and we have it. Let us see who is going to give up. We outnumber you by over 100,000 to 1. Even if we sacrifice 10 lives for one of you, we will kill all of you. That is why I know that Biafra land is a death trap for the zoo. They can never get out of there alive. They will die in that very place. DSS officers cannot go to their villages. Fulani think they are smart, but they are very foolish. I know they have this mentality of the vulture, udele. You know, Fulani. When you look at the zoo called Nigeria today, Fulani approach to the zoo is like the mentality of a vulture. Of course, they come from the foothills of Futajalon, which literally means the mountain of vultures in Senegambia, before they started their march towards Gobert, which they renamed Sokoto. That the stupid, idiotic Hausa peasants allowed them to take. Oh, I feel sorry for... Anyway, there's no more house anyway. They're finished. You see the male vulture, Udele, the male one. The male vulture, Udele, was being interviewed, maybe by BBC, but I don't know. They asked the vulture, the male vulture. The BBC will ask the male vulture, Udele, now that your wife is pregnant, what do you think the future holds for you? BBC will asking vulture, Udele. That is, you know, the bird called Udele. Now, you know, vulture, it only eats carcasses. It only eats rotten meat. Dead bodies, that's what it eats. They asked a vulture, what is your take about the impending delivery from your wife? And the vulture, the male vulture, calmly replied that it is God that gives a child. If my wife survives the delivery, we will celebrate. But if she dies in the process of childbirth, then I'll call a feast because there'll be food to eat. That is Fulani mentality in the zoo. Now let me tell you something. If you keep quiet, I want to talk to TB, Joshua, all these Yoruba criminal pastors. I want to listen to me very carefully. I want to also minister this evening to Mrs. Tambuwa. I want that fool, Omahi, to listen. X419, Omahi. I want to listen very, very carefully to what I have to say. The Fulani approach to the zoo called Nigeria is called the devil's alternative. I want to repeat very, very carefully, and I want you to understand this evening. It is called the devil's alternative. Fulani, they have this two-pronged approach to the issue of one Nigeria. If they collapse you through banditry, they will overrun you because they believe they have superior weaponry. Right now, and all of them are in this game together. That's number one. If you sue for peace, which idiots like Omahi are doing, if you sue for peace, they will also get what they're looking for because they will plant Ruga in every local government area. The devil's alternative, whichever option you choose, men are going to die. Men will die. It doesn't matter the option you choose. If you wait for them to do things peacefully, which they will never do, they are going to kill you anyway because there will be Ruga. And you allow them to forcibly take over your land, you are taken over, they will take it by force, and Fulani will plant their people in your local government areas. That in the next 100 years, you'll be hearing about Olo Emirate. And then we'll be like Hausa people. Our great-grandchildren will now ask their parents, what happened? They will tell them, oh no, there was somebody called Hope Uzodinma. He was playing politics. He loved Nigeria. There was one called Omahi. He loves Fulani. He used to wear Obada. But then we are gone. As a race, we are finished. And I said to these fools, I said to Mrs. Tambuwal, and I said to idiots like Omahi, why can't you learn from history? The same thing I said to Yoruba, you have even experienced it yourself. TB Joshua is a Yoruba man. All these idiots that claim their pastors talking rubbish, they're all Yoruba. It has happened to them in Ilorin. I can't understand why they cannot see this. I don't understand why they cannot see it. I don't understand the reason why they cannot see it. I don't understand the reason why they cannot see it. I don't understand it. TB Joshua, you're a Yoruba man. Are you telling me that you cannot see what happened to Lauren, how Fulani took it from you? You cannot see it? Mrs. Tambuwa, can you not even see? Because there is a saying where we come from. Can you not see? Even the oil that is in Iguacha, you don't own any oil well there. They belong to your husband and their people in the north. Can't you even see it? Do you understand what I'm saying now? They get you to hate your own people. That is the classic Fulani movement. They get you to start quarreling amongst yourselves. That is what they specialize in. And as you're quarreling, they're picking you off one after the other. People in Kebbi State, are they not Muslim? Are some of them not even Fulani and Hausa and all the rest of them? But the bandits came and they're running away. But they're Muslims doing Allahu Akbar. But they're running away from their homes and their villages. You people, you don't learn. You know nothing. Now listen. Agames Unezio. Fulani Caliphate is dealing with you people. But you don't know it. They are like the vulture. Nigeria is pregnant. If Nigeria dies during the pregnancy, they benefit. Nigeria gives birth to their Ruga, which they want, a new Nigeria, which they want, is also to their benefit. The only people aiding and abetting them are these quislings, efulefus from the East, intellectuals, and sophisticated morons from the West. You want to answer a citizen, you want to be seen as somebody who's detribalized. As you're detribalizing yourselves, the Fulanis are tribalizing you. The Fulanis are tribalizing you because you don't understand anything. Now, I want to give you people a brief history of Kebbi. You know Kebbi State, Kebbi. Brennan Kebbi. You don't know the history. Very, very briefly, I want to give you so that you can situate what I'm saying. You can now better understand what I'm telling you. Now, listen very carefully. Kebbi State that you're looking at, Kebbi, is a traditional Fulani homeland. Those they call the Banza Bakwai of Hausa land. Sorry, not Fulani, Hausa land. Traditional Hausa land. It used to be part of the Hausa kingdom. I don't know if Facebook has come again, even on Instagram. Zoo, they're spending a lot of money to try to curtail us, but they have failed. Kebbi is a traditional Banza Bakwai state of the Hausa kingdom. And you may not believe it. Hausa people have been living inside the Kebbi state 600 years before Jesus Christ was born. It was Hausa. They've been living there almost 600 years before Christ was born. As part of the Songhai Empire and all the rest of it. Then in the second half of the 15th century, about 14 something and all the rest of it, the Fulanis came for the first time in Kebbi State. I am telling the soldiers now in Olo from Kebbi, I want to tell you your history because you don't know. Because you're very foolish. The same thing you're doing was exactly what the Fulanis did to your progenitors. And that is why you're a Fulani slave till this evening. You are in Olo. Do you want Nigeria? One Nigeria for who? One Nigeria for who, I'm asking you? One Nigeria for who? Now listen. The Fulanis first attempted to conquer Kebbi State in late 1400s, many centuries ago. But in the early 19th century, they converted some of you to Islam. That's how they were not traditional Islamists before. The Fulanis came very shortly, telling them about Allah and Muhammad. Took some of them. I told you before, it used to be a Hausa kingdom, but today it is a Fulani emirate, the emirate of Kebbi. Do you understand me now? So if you are in the Nigerian army right now, serving wherever, thinking you're trying to defend Nigeria, your fatherland and all the rest of it, and you're from Kebbi State, I say to you, Nto, the Panyarasiam, because your state is gone. It is gone. It is gone. Kebbi State, for those who don't understand who we are, what is happening, Kebbi State is populated by Hausa people, not Fulani. Hausa are the owners of Kebbi State. But the Hausa people, they are in Olu in Imo State to do one Nigeria. Nigeria must stand. Our commander-in-chief gave us order. Nigeria is one, unity by force. But his village is gone in Kebbi State. I can't see how I go on. Oh, dear me. In Kebbi State, you have Hausa people that are there. In Kebbi State, you have a sprinkling of Fulani. Now, let me shock all of you. They are saying, we are the North. We're the Northerners. It's rubbish. There's nothing called Northerners. Because inside even Kebbi State, there is the Leina people. Or Lerna people, if you prefer. In the same Kebbi State, you have the Busawa people. They are not Hausa. They are not Fulani. These are the minorities Obasanjo was talking about. They are going to suffer. Now I want to ask Obasanjo tonight, how about the Busawa people who have been chased away from Kebbi State by bandits? What's going to happen to them? Are they not suffering? You know, people come up sometimes, they claim because their name is known all over Nigeria, they can make whatever idiotic statement they like, and they get away with it. Look at Obasanjo. Of course, he's not a learned man. He's not polished. We shall get to unknown gunmen later, because it was Obasanjo who introduced unknown soldier. Is it not true? It was Obasanjo who brought in unknown soldier. These days, people have unknown gunmen. We don't know who they are. But of course, we are praying for them, because they're doing a very wonderful work. Who brought in unknown soldiers? Not you, Obasanjo. Now you have unknown gunmen in the east. And the people are complaining. But when unknown soldiers went to go and kill Fela